Hey girl, welcome back to the podcast. Today I have a special treat for you. I have been getting questions in my inbox about the masterclass that we recently did in November to share all about the misconceptions of recovery and what you can do right now today if you're struggling with an eating disorder. I had so much fun in that masterclass that I just wanted to bring a couple of bits and pieces of that class and that experience to you in case maybe you wanted to attend and you were unable to attend, or maybe you're new here and you knew nothing about it. We will be doing an upcoming masterclass very soon in the new year, but until then, I'm going to share with you some highlights from the masterclass that I feel like you can use right now to help you end the year strong and start a new year super strong. All right, sis, let's dive in. Here we go. Hey girl, welcome to the Her Best Self podcast. I'm Lindsay Nickel, former competitive figure skater and perfectionist, turned God-led imperfect boy mom and digital CEO. If you find yourself constantly thinking about food and wondering if you'll wake up one day free from the obsessive thoughts and behaviors controlling your life, then I've created this podcast for you because I know exactly what it's like to be a downright hot mess trapped in a destructive cycle of disordered eating. I finally found freedom, and you can too, girlfriend. So if you're ready to heal your relationship with food and body and break the chains of control and show up in your best health, then grab your favorite Tarjay journal and let's get to it so you can start living your best life as your best self. So we will let folks pop in as they may, but I did just want to say welcome. If you can just say hi in the chat. I am so excited and grateful that you're here today spending some time with me. I know it may have taken a lot of courage to show up. This isn't like any other, masterclass or webinar. It's a very vulnerable place. And so I just want to say I see you and thank you so much for coming. You are exactly where you need to be, but it takes guts to be real and to show up for yourself and your recovery. And so I'm proud of you for joining us. With that being said, I want you to either take notes, or whether it's your favorite journal, notes on your app and your computer, or whatever it may be, I want you to write down anything that resonates with you from today's session. Remember, this is your journey. No matter where you are, no matter what your starting point is from, no matter where you are today, this is your journey. There's no comparison, there's no judgment, and there is no right or wrong way to be here today. So thank you for coming. I hope you know me by now, but my name is Lindsay Nickel. I'm an eating disorder recovery coach. I'm a mentor, and I'm the host of the Her Best Self podcast. Hopefully you've listened to the show. If so, I am just so grateful for your listen. And most importantly, of all the things outside of being a wife and a boy mom and busy, I'm someone who understands exactly where you are right now if you struggle with an eating disorder. Why? Well, because I have been there and I have gotten the t-shirt. And for many years, I was stuck in that place. And that's why I believe that your body was never meant to be your life's work. And I am dedicated to my life's work, but my body is not it. And in fact, your body, it was meant to champion you in your life's work. And this is an important concept. And I hope as we navigate time together today, we'll continue to build on this quote and this concept. So you are sharing this time with such a wonderful group of women. And we're all on the same mission to become better versions of ourselves, as I like to say, the best version of ourselves. And I want you to take a moment and I want you to check in with you. I know that you're in the right place just because you are in my space. And I like to pray over my ladies that I don't yet know yet. I like to be here with the ladies and be super present. If you've tried to recover before, if you're scared of gaining weight or losing control, you want a life that is completely full and full of life, but you just don't know where to start. And maybe you feel like your identity has been tied to your eating disorder. If any of these resonate and you're nodding your head and you're like, yes, that is me, Lindsay, then I want you to know you are not alone. You are in the right place. And together today, we are going to explore a couple of different things. One, we're going to talk about the number one misconception about recovery. And I'm going to talk about how you can overcome that. as well as how to silence that voice that is inside of your mind on repeat. We're going to talk about weight gain because I know that that is one of the biggest fears that all of my clients come into me seeking is like, I want to get better, but I'm terrified to gain weight. And sister, I am there. Like I have been so there. And I absolutely love this quote. It is me in a nutshell, but it really resonates. And that is, strength is what we gain from the madness that we survive. Eating disorder is madness, okay? That whole world is madness. But when you can survive your own self, you gain so much strength. And so there is so much power in this process. So I just want to encourage you today to keep putting one foot in front of the other. When I think about my journey, I get transported back to those early days as a professional figure skater. From young ages of 8, the ice was my everything. I mean, I went at 4:30 in the morning before school. I was there after school, all the way through high school. It was my stage. It was my sanctuary. It was my source of validation. And I grew up in a great neighborhood. I had wonderful parents. I had great friends. Yet I always felt I wouldn't be loved, that my parents would somehow find that if I wasn't on my best behavior, I wasn't good enough. And so I constantly struggled with never feeling like I was enough. And if you're sitting there, oh my gosh, do I get that? Over time, this led to massive insecurity in my life, never feeling like I had accomplished enough, never feeling like I was good enough, always wanting to be better or further along than where I was. And so if you mix that with my desire to be an elite skater and perform on an elite team, it was a recipe. It was a cocktail of eating disorder land and disaster. And what started as a beautiful passion followed and slowly transformed into an extreme obsession with being perfect and with controlling my body. And I remember to this day, in fact, I get like all the chilly willies, I get goosebumps when I talk with you right now about when everything changed for me. And it was during an audition with Disney on Ice that should have been my biggest break, where I was auditioning for the Princess Tour. And I was so excited. I was like, this is it. This is my thing. And instead, it became the catalyst for my spiral, because I was told, well, Lindsay, you're great, but you have to lose 10 pounds before we'll consider it. I was healthy. I was in a great place. I was an athlete. I was at the top of my A game. And yet, once again, I felt like I wasn't enough. And so my mission at that point was to restrict, to do whatever I could, to overexercise, to skate longer, to monitor my food intake even more than I already been. And the pursuit of perfection at that point had taken over my life so much that I couldn't see a way out. And the 10 turned to 20 and the 20 turned to 30, and it just spiraled and spiraled and spiraled until I could no longer skate. I remember the moment in time where I spent time in treatment, but my mom saved my life because I was super sick and in super denial. And I was fine. I was just getting ready for skating and all this other thing. And so I finally got into a place with a team of professionals, first by denial, and then finally an acceptance that if I ever wanted to step foot on the ice again, then I would need to get healthier. And so that was my mission at that point in life, was to set out to get stronger for myself. And so I constantly would have that in my mind. You're not going to get bigger, Lindsay. You're just getting stronger. And so I surrendered to accepting the fact that there was no other way, and to God and to my family. But here's what I know now that I wish I would have known then. It was in my recovery that I discovered that my purpose here wasn't to be perfect. And it actually wasn't to be a professional skater. It was helping others find freedom from their own perfection. It was hard and messy, and it truly was the biggest transformation of my life. But I fully believe that if I can do it, you can too. And so that is why I am so confident in my stance towards recovery. And I honestly feel like if coaches were around at the time of my recovery, I probably would have experienced it a lot sooner and a lot quicker, and maybe a little tad less pain. But anyways, I want you to take my story and I want you to think about yours. I want you to own it. I want you to own the good. I want you to own the bad and the now. And I want you to take a minute to reflect on these questions and imagine your life free from this. What would that even feel like? What would that even look like? If I could be free right now, what would that look like? What would that feel like? And what's one thing that I can do today to get a little bit further along? Because we don't have to see the full staircase. We just have to keep walking. And that was one of the biggest things in my recovery was I always felt behind. Again, I talked about how I always wanted to be like 20 steps ahead of everybody else. And right now, the fact that you're here is a step. Okay, so I just want to encourage you, think about this. Take a moment and really imagine your life free from it. And if you can't imagine that, what is keeping you from imagining it? What is the blocker? What is the big monster that's sitting there that you wish that you could just erase? And then think about that one thing that you could do to prove to yourself today that you're just a tad closer to freedom. Now, I want to talk about overcoming the common misconceptions, okay? Because I believe that there are four. We have identity, which is this is just who I am. I'm sure we've all said that. This isn't possible for me. So it's time to recreate you. Not only is it possible, it's probable. A, because you're here, and B, because you have a will inside of you that got you to this place. So that same power and superpower and will is going to get you out of it. The second is culture. Weight gain is bad. Okay, this is such a lie that you've been programmed to believe, and we're going to talk about that. But we are redefining health. We are redefining that for you today and for your life. And I want you to think about that. If I was free, how would I view myself, my healthy self? Who is she? Belief. Belief is big. Okay, we have all kinds of beliefs, and I could literally talk your ears off on beliefs. But the belief of I'm too old, or it's too late, or I'm not sick enough, or maybe you can do it, Lindsay. I'm listening to your story, and that's great. I'm so glad that you have experienced life free from this. But maybe not me. Maybe it's just not in the cards for me. I want you to challenge that because it is important to conquer those limiting beliefs. We're not going to fight for our limitations anymore. No. We are going to fight for our freedom. And so I want to encourage you to do that today. And then circumstances. The I'm not ready and I don't have enough support, or this is a phase in my life that I just can't take time away from my family, or I'll get better later. How is this not true? How is this not serving you? These are misconceptions that keep us here another day, which turns into another week, which turns into another year. I want to encourage you today to think about those excuses, think about those misconceptions so that you can acknowledge them, identify them, and then tackle them, because that's what it takes. Even at my lowest weight, it was not enough for me because an eating disorder will never let you be enough. But I just want to thank you for being here. This is super special. It's my first time that we've done like a live event before, and I kind of like it, but I would love your feedback or your thoughts. If there's anything personally, questions that you want to take this time to have answers to, or just to get my thoughts around, I would love to hang out with you.
Hi, I just did want to pop in and just say hi, Lindsay, and hello, everyone. And I was kind of thinking about like the research and the percentages, and I'm wondering if they were to do a study on if someone were to have a coach, who has been there and like what the percentage of recovery would be versus just, not just, but therapy is important too, but therapy with a psychologist versus a coaching session with a person who has been there, done that, knows exactly what you're going through. Because Lindsay and I have worked together for several months, and I have had therapy for several years, like decades, almost 30 years, and was unable to fully recover with all of that. Like I didn't see her for all of those 28 years, but I saw her, off and on for at least 15 years. and was just not able to get there where I wanted to be. And just having Lindsay, having that hope, and just having her knowledge of what it's like to have an eating disorder and understand fully was just so helpful, because I am there. Like, I feel like when she asked us to visualize what life, would look like when you don't have an eating disorder, I'm living it, because I'm living that. And I actually just woke up this morning and I am like loving even though like there's a ton of stress right now, but I am still just like loving my life. I don't have that second person taking along with me anymore. I've buried her, she's gone. So I just feel like it was essential to my recovery to have Lindsay be my coach. So yeah, I just am so grateful. Yeah.
Oh gosh, Sarah, I was not prepared for that. Like I
Oh.
was not prepared for that. I love that. You're the best. And
Mm.
you're a coach, you were a coachable client, and you were determined to do the actions, which matters. But I also think like prevention and continuing forward in your recovery has been something that you've elevated as an important thing. And that is
Yes.
important, right? Like even after you are done with working with whomever that works best for you and your style, it's like you have to continue to be able to do these things. Like I say it, I'm not in your kitchen, I'm not in your house. I'd love to do that. I'd love to teleport myself all over the world. But I'm not there. And so you have to be the one to keep those promises. You've done a great job of that. But also I would love those stats, because again, like coaching was not a thing when I recovered from my eating disorder. If it had been, I feel like I would have felt, and this isn't anything against therapy, but a more like human experience versus, being judged or how I took away my experience. And that was always feeling like I wasn't sure if I wanted to be honest without being like ridiculed or told, well, And so
Mm-hmm.
that was the world I recovered in. Now I still recovered. I just feel like it would have been great to kind of have a different insight of a mentor type person, right? That has
Yeah.
been able to come out on the other side. So I think it's super important. You make up a great
Mm-hmm.
point.
Yeah.
Maybe we can be statistics for the value of coaching.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I did do my stats. That was where the 90% came from. I looked at it literally 2 days ago, and I said, I'm going to take every single client I've ever worked with, and I'm going to look at their exit packet, which is something that I do with every client. And I'm going to see like what changes that they made and what changes, didn't happen. There were 2 clients, and I won't even tell you how many clients I've worked with, which is plenty, that quit.
Wow.
And that's why, like, they quit. They didn't even like finish time together. They just quit. And part of that was, no fault to them. It was things going on in their life, but they just said, I can't do this anymore. I am not in a good place, and they quit. So it wasn't even kind of like a fair statistic, but I still wanted to put it in there, because I'm like, well, there hasn't been 100% because people have quit. But if you don't quit, that's the proof, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't quit,
Yeah.
then you're just one step forward every day.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a really good place to be, to kind of reframe your mindset. So I'm so grateful that you invested this hour together. That is so important. And the more and more that I continue to lean in, even to my business, now that I've passed the healing journey, the more we're investing in building knowledge, like we're just taking that in, and then it's pouring from us and giving back right into the world. But it changes us, it develops us, it generates something new. And so I'm constantly doing that, and the fact that y'all are here, doing that too. And so hopefully you did learn some new things today. But I mean, I've shared many of these things before, and it's just what we do with that knowledge. It's just continuing to marinate in it. It will become part of who you are. So I'm just very appreciative for all of you that took the time today. Thank you, ladies, for joining. You guys are the best. And I'll see you real soon.
Hey
Hey girl, I hope that you loved hearing some of the masterclass. Of course, I didn't share it all with you because I want you to join the next one. I will be giving out details soon following the holidays. From my heart to yours, I know that recovery is possible for you. And I want you to start believing that truth. So tell that voice inside of your head to knock it off because you are going to start leaning in to the best version of you. If you're wondering, how can I partner with you, Lindsay? Then I want you to go onto our website, herbestself.co. You can fill out a client application right there and we'll set up some time to chat. Bye for now, sis. Oh, friend, thank you so much for letting me share what was on my heart today. My hope for this podcast is to help more women find freedom from food and body. If this has empowered or blessed you, let me know. I'd be honored for your rating and review of my show, and I'd love to connect with you in my private Facebook community. You really can move from perfection to purpose. Let's break the chains together. I'll help navigate the way. Until next time, bye for now, girl.